little bit of progress with the, I don't know, too high, too low, whatever. We're getting tighter. We're not showing the whole wardrobe. Cheers. Not a bad day. Started better than it ended. Had a couple windows for potential disaster in there. Let's double check. And the live chat is up and running. All right, we're good. We're good. Welcome to the stream. Hope everyone had a great day. New England, yeah, they sucked. Terrible pick. Niners hammered the Patriots. I wonder how much of that is the Niners being really good and the Patriots being really bad. It's a little bit of everything in there. But New England just... And then for the Niners to rally after being humiliated 2 weeks ago by the Dolphins to beat the Rams and go to New England and win that game, that's saying something. I still don't know how good the Niners are. They're not as good as they were last year, but they're well coached. They're competitive. They're going to hang around. The Patriots, I'm curious as to how bad they are. We're going to find that out real. Belichick covers about 68% of the time coming off a loss. To get humiliated like that at home, to not cover is one thing, right? But to get humiliated like that is a completely different story. So, Pitt fans stuck not wanting field goal to over 51. Steelers game was awesome. So let's go through the recap. Wait, hold on. I'm missing one. I had another loser in there. I got to make sure I get it right. Winner. Okay, so we're 3-3. We gave out 7 picks this morning. We're 3-3 because the one that we gave out that hasn't ended yet, the over in tonight's baseball game, over 8 runs. So that's still sitting out there. Winners, the Lions. What an ending. How pathetic can you be if you are the Atlanta Falcons? Seriously, what's wrong with you? Seriously. You can lose that game. There are a lot of different things that can go south. But to watch Penn State do what they did against Indiana yesterday, and then 24 hours later, not even, do the exact same thing. I'm a Penn State alum, for those of you that don't know. Like, James Franklin not having his team coached up in that situation is egregious to me. It's almost fireable. I slept on it. I don't want him fired, but damn, man, you got to have your team coached up in that spot. For the Falcons to not only be professionals, for Todd Gurley to not have only done this before in his career, he did this with the Rams. He knows to go down. Why are you running into the end zone? How? How is it that every single NFL coach didn't see what Penn State did yesterday and was like, hey, by the way, if somehow the opposing defense is signaling for you to run into the end zone, don't do it. If the opposing defense wants you to score, it's a trap. This is like kindergarten stuff. And Gurley runs to the one, tries to fall short, goes in. The Lions are all signaling it's a touchdown. They want him in there. And then they get the ball, go down the field, and score a touchdown to win the game. Don't care. Arthur Blank's got to fire everybody. I know he already fired Quinn. Fire the rest of them. Incredibly embarrassing if you are associated with the Falcons in any way, shape, or form. So we won with Detroit. We won with Pittsburgh. That one felt good. I hate Tennessee. Not the state, not the people, not anything they have to offer. I don't even really hate the Titans. I just hate the fact that I continue to bet against the Titans, and I've been losing so often. It's like every time I bet against them, I lose. This goes back to last year. And finally, the bottom fell out like we talked about this morning. Too many close calls and too many games where they caught every break imaginable. And today, they started in a hole, they rallied all the way back, and then they missed a field goal. Oops. Thank God. Pittsburgh wins. And then the Pittsburgh Charger teaser. Chargers looked like they were going to try to screw that up for a little while. I had a couple tweets ready to go on that one and then throttled back. So those are the 3 winners. Houston, they're a turd. I don't know what I was thinking betting them against Green Bay. Houston is just really bad. No heart. No, like J.J. Watt. Let me ask something. Is J.J. Watt, who's leading that locker room right now? Is anyone leading that locker room? He's supposed to be a leader. Watson's supposed to be a leader. Those dudes just roll over for anybody. They could not care less who they're playing. no problem coming in and just rolling them over. Stream choppy. A couple people. I'm watching the stream right now. It seems like it's working all right. All right, hopefully it'll kick through. So we lost Houston, lost the Raiders. I picked the spot there. I got to know better on that. The Raiders have a terrible defense, and we saw that again today. They've spent a lot of draft capital on defense. Some point got to make some plays. And the other loser was New England, which we recapped to start. So 3-3, which means overall 56 wins, 55 losses. So we're down the juice. And like I said, we have the Dodgers pending. The Cowboy game, someone brought that up. We know they're not good. Two things on that game, and a lot of people have already made this point. This is an original point, but if your quarterback gets laid out the way John Bostic laid out Andy Dalton, and no one from the Cowboys is fighting that guy or trying to do anything, this speaks to what we talked about last week. Like, there's no leadership in the Dallas locker room. Remember, this is the team that last year, as a favorite, went to Philadelphia in Week 16. Division on the line. They just rolled over in that game. They got beat by Philadelphia's D squad, and they won that game. Eagles won the game. And then Garrett ends up getting fired. So everyone assumes Garrett's the problem, myself included. And then McCarthy comes in, and the players are already talking shit. And the reality is there's no accountability with the Cowboys. There's no like, who's the leader? Is it Prescott? He's not around. Is it Zeke? I think he just gets paid. I think a lot of dudes in that locker room get paid, and then I think some don't. I think they all pretty much underperform, and then there's no leadership. There's no accountability. There's no pride. That's the thing. I think the team lacks pride in an extreme way. They went to Washington today, no pride whatsoever. They get rolled. Quarterback gets laid out. Like, Prescott gets hurt, is lost for the season. Dalton gets laid out on a cheap shot. No one does anything. They don't care. They don't care. So here's the thing for Jerry Jones. He's got to make a decision. Do you want a yes man, which means you can be in control, and if you win, you get all the credit because that's what you want, Jerry, or do you want to win? He's getting up there in years. Do you want to win before you die? Do you want to compete before you die? And if you do, you got to hire a guy and let him control it, right? Last time you were successful was with Jimmy Johnson, and you couldn't handle it because Jimmy was getting all the credit. Your ego got in the way. So you've gone with yes men pretty much since. I know Switzer won. That team was loaded. That was Johnson's team. But Switzer won. But since then, nothing. You do realize that since 1997, the Raiders and the Jaguars have more playoff wins than the Cowboys. Cowboys have 3 playoff wins since 1997. That's pitiful. That's absolutely pitiful. I think it's the Jags have 5 and the Raiders have 4. The Raiders have more playoff wins than the Cowboys since 97. Cowboys are not a good franchise. So Jerry's got to decide, A, do you want to win, but someone else is going to get the credit? Or B, do you want the credit for losing? It's so odd. He has to get the credit, but in order to do that, he has to have yes men coaches who can't get the job done. And that's Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, it's already been proven. You can move on. He doesn't have any control over that team. He doesn't have that team. They don't listen to him. Those dudes don't care. So that's the Cowboys. So there's the recap. 3-3, 56 and 55 overall. Dodgers Rays over 8 runs pending. Arizona, Seattle tonight. If you've heard the Tennessee rants, then you know the Seattle rants as well. Nobody gives it to me like the Seahawks. I've been betting against the Seahawks like crazy, and they do me in at almost every turn. I got them in the Vikings game, but I lost. I lost the Dolphins game. I've lost so many games betting against Seattle. I can't get over the fact that, number one, they have an awful defense. Number two, they are always involved in these one-score games, and they just always find a way to get it done. 22 of their last 27 games, this includes the postseason, 22 of their last 27 games have been one-score games. In those 22 one-score games, they're 17-5. That's insane. That's a bounce of the ball. Like Tennessee's had that luck. Finally, we broke through on that today. Seattle, it's incredible. If I bet against them, they're always finding a way. Almost always. Like I said, we got the Minnesota one a couple weeks ago, but generally, definitely on the wrong end with this team. Weather's not a concern. The game's in Arizona. The big toaster. Don't have to worry about anything there. Injuries. Chandler Jones is out for the Cardinals. We already knew that. Other than that, they're healthy. For Seattle, they are going to be down Jamal Adams again on defense, and that defense is already terrible. And they're going to be down Mike Iupati on the offensive line. But other than that, they're healthy. So that's the health concern. The line movement, I would love to have a discussion on this, but there is no discussion. Seattle was minus 3.5 on the look-ahead line. They pretty much came back at minus 3.5. They're still 3.5. We haven't seen a whole lot. I don't even know if this ever got to 3. It may have. I didn't see it, and if it was there, it wasn't there for long. Total's gone from 54.5 to about 55, so not a lot of movement at all. Remember, this game wasn't originally supposed to be the Sunday night game. It was supposed to be Tampa and the Raiders, but that game, because of the COVID situation, the NFL wanted to take all precautions, so they bumped that game up to the afternoon, and they flexed this game into the night. So that's where we're at. 3 trends I want to lay out for you. I wanted to bet Seattle tonight. I wanted to lay the 3.5. I'm not doing it because I came across this. Since 2003, okay, teams coming off a Monday night game, which is what the Cardinals are doing. They're coming off a Monday night game. Teams coming off a Monday night game facing an opponent who is off a bye, which is Seattle, right? That scenario. A team off Monday night facing an opponent off a bye. The team off Monday night, 24, 9, and 1 against the spread. That's insane. The thought process behind this is that maybe, just maybe, when we see this situation, we go, oh my God, short week versus a team off a bye, team off the bye, great situation, that gets so cooked into the line that it overinflates the line. And then as a result, you get value going the other way. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to lay 3.5 with Seattle because of that, partially. And the other reason is, I do still expect the bottom to fall out with Seattle at some point. You can't you can't run this well in 1-score games, just like Tennessee. But I like the spot for Seattle, and I think they're a better team. I don't think the Cardinals are that great. I think the Cardinals are taking a step forward this year, but I don't think they're great. I think they're 7-9, maybe 8-8. They're a middle of the pack team that's making progress. That's a compliment. It doesn't sound like it, but it is. It's a compliment. They've been dog crap for a few years. Now they're making progress. You're average. You should feel good about that. Take a step in the right direction. That's trend number 1. Trend number 2 is that the Cardinals, every game has gone under this year. You went to the under this season. And then number 3, we already told you about Seattle. 22 of the last 27 games have been 1-score games. They're 17-5 in those games. So here's what I am predicting for tonight's game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I also think that Murray and the Cardinal offense are going to roll up big numbers. Now, that might make you say we should take the Cardinals. I don't want to take the Cardinals. Tired of betting against Seattle. Not taking the Cardinals, not taking the Seahawks either. I have no side in this. I'm playing some props, and I'm playing the total, which is pick number 1. I am going over. Where the hell is it? How's that even possible? It's the first bet. How is it even possible that I don't have the number written down? 55. Over 55 points. How is that even possible? Get organized, son. Seattle's defense is terrible. And I know they're giving up 470 yards per game. That is absolutely insane. And it's absolutely terrible. It's terrible. I think the Cardinals are going to find a way to put their points on the board. And I'm not going to doubt Russell Wilson. He's going to put plenty of points on the board. So first and foremost, is there an issue with the stream? I'm still watching it. All right. We keep it moving. So that's going to be number 1. I think we're going to get a shootout tonight. And I know a lot of things don't point to that. Maybe Seattle figures something out defensively off their bye. Maybe Arizona continues this trend of unders, but I see Arizona being able to march on Seattle. Everyone's marched on Seattle. I'm going to have some numbers for you on that in a second. And again, I don't think Russell Wilson's all of a sudden going to get slowed down. DK Metcalf should eat. The rest of the Seahawk receivers should eat. I mean, Chandler Jones isn't playing. The Cardinal defense has been better. I bashed Vance Joseph pretty good before the season started, Cardinal defensive coordinator. This team's been okay. They've been okay defensively. They've played against some lousy offenses, but you know what? I shouldn't try to cut it down. They've been improved. They deserve that credit. So pick number 1 is going to be the over. Pick number 2, we're going to the Cardinal offense the rest of the way out. So here's how I see it. Kyler Murray over 267.5 passing yards. Kyler Murray, 267.5 over. Here are the passing yardage numbers the Seahawks have given up this season. They have given up 434 passing yards. Then they gave up 397, then 461, then 312, then 248. That's insane. The 248's Kirk Cousins, and I think it was raining a little bit in that game. Plus, Minnesota had the lead for a decent portion of it and was running the ball. The point being, Opposing quarterbacks are throwing for an average of 370 passing yards per game against this team. That is disgusting. That is disgustingly of Seattle. We're asking for Kyler Murray to throw for 103 yards below the average. Sorry, I don't see that. So I'm going to be going over on Kyler Murray passing yards, 267.5. In addition, Kyler Murray's longest completion of the night, over 37.5 passing yards. I figure there's going to be at least one jailbreak play in there. Doesn't even have to be a bomb down the field. It could be a screen with missed tackles. But I don't personally see this team deploy. And that lead prop 3, DeAndre Hopkins over 79.5 receiving yards. So you're sensing a theme here. My thought process is that we are going to be facing or dealing with a higher scoring game, which is why we're going to play the over. And in addition to that, we are going to have an Arizona team that feasts on the Seattle defense. Number one, because the Seattle defense is bad. And number two, because Russell Wilson and the Seahawks offense is going to put up their points, forcing Arizona to engage in this shootout and to continue moving. So those are the final plays. 4 plays. Over 55 total points. Kyler Murray over 267.5 passing yards. Kyler Murray's longest completion over 37.5 yards. DeAndre Hopkins over 79.5 receiving yards. Sorry for the choppy nature of the stream. I will work on that. There have been some internet issues since I moved to Vegas. Never had any of these issues in oh, you know what? Now that I'm using the computer instead of the iPad, I can plug directly in because I lost that adapter. I can directly hardwire in. So we'll do that tomorrow. Monday stream is 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. We preview the Monday night game. We do that on Thursday as well. 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Wi-Fi in Henderson sucked. Yes, it does apparently. Thank you for weighing in. Probably the pigeons. Better not be the pigeons. I saw them flying around earlier. Other stream was fine. Thank you for bringing that up. It seemed like this morning went well, and this one's been a little bit off. So we'll work on that. I'm going to hardwire in moving forward. I didn't even realize I could do that because I've switched from the iPad to the computer. So that's going to be tomorrow's stream. We'll hardwire in, and we'll do it live. 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific. Who the hell even plays tomorrow on Monday night? Oh, Bears-Rams. Good one. Really good one. All right. So just quick recap. We still have the Dodgers, Tampa Bay over 8 runs pending. And then for anyone who missed it during the buffering, the over in tonight's game, 55 total points. Kyler Murray over 267.5 passing yards. Kyler Murray's longest completion over 37.5 yards. DeAndre Hopkins over 79.5 receiving yards. Maybe Pete Carroll fixed his defense during the bye. And then I'm going to go bust tonight. But if he didn't and things go the way they normally do, we're going to cash in. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a pretty good Sunday. Cheers. I'm going to go eat some tacos. Have a great night, everybody. Good luck.